All right, in this video, I'm gonna be teaching you how to actually master the Greatsword. Without wasting any time, let's get straight into the video. Alrighty then, so first things first, what I always tell you guys in every single one of my tutorial videos, that if you go over to the info section of the settings tab and go down to player guide, you have a weapon controls section. In this section, it'll cover the very basics of the weapon. So if there's anything basic that you're confused about after this tutorial, then you can head over to this section and you can see the controls and some of the recommended combos. The recommended combos most of the time are pretty fucking horrible. If you wanted to take a peek, then there it is. Now you know where it is. Anyway, let's get into the video. All right, so the Greatsword is probably one of my absolute favorite weapons for multiple reasons. One, it does amazing damage, but most importantly, it is very simple. So I'm hoping this video is going to be short for you guys, and I have a feeling that it will be. The Greatsword has no weapon properties, so you don't have to build any gauge. You don't have to do any of that stuff like for the long sword or the switch axe, stuff like that. Your mission is just to deal as much oonga boonga ginormous damage as you possibly can, while at the same time trying to knock over the monster by using things like the charging rising slash and tackles as well. All right, so that is pretty much the entire premise of this video. I'm gonna break things down for you guys into about 5 different sections. Step number 1, we're going to be talking about the true charge slash. That is going to be your heaviest hitting attack, and in that section we're going to focus on things like how to get to your true charge slash, how to get there faster, and some very basic combos you can use with the true charge slash. Step number 2, we're going to be talking about the rising slash. The rising slash is one of the most important attacks in Monster Hunter Wilds and is new to Monster Hunter Wilds, and this attack is extremely important because it potentially gives you very big windows to let out a lot of damage, while at the same time is a very good defensive attack, countering other monsters' attacks so that you don't get hit and then take damage. In section number 3, I'm going to be giving you the absolute best DPS combos that you want to be cycling with the Greatsword, and these combos are going to be what you're going to want to focus in every single fight. Step number 4, I'm going to be showing you how to open fights and how you want to open every single hunt so that you can do the most amount of damage in the beginning and start cycling your biggest DPS combos as fast as possible. And finally, I will be showing you the best monster to train on so that you can practice all of the mechanics with the Greatsword and not just in the training range. And at the end of this video, you will have everything you need to make every monster in this game your pick. All right, let's go ahead and start off with the true charge slash, how to get to it and everything you need to know about it. First things first, on the bottom left, you probably see something called a true charge slash combo, and that is going to be the most basic way to get to your true charge slash, okay? Just by clicking Y 3 times, your last attack is going to give you this double swing. That is going to be your true charge slash. Something very important to note is that you can actually hold every single one of these attacks in this combo, and you want to let go on the 3rd pulse. Whenever it pulses red, you want to let 1006 damage is crazy. You want to let go of whatever button you're holding, whether that's triangle or Y in that combo when it pulses red, because it is possible to overcharge. And if you do overcharge, it's actually going to go back a little bit and will do the damage equivalent to the 2nd pulse, not the final pulse. However, there are other ways that you can get to the true charge slash by either doing more damage or getting there faster. The first one I want to talk about is by using the tackle. While you're holding Y or triangle if you're on PlayStation, you can press B or circle also if you're on PlayStation, and you will cancel the charge and go into a tackle. But it is important to know that when you're canceling this, you're not actually canceling the whole combo. You're canceling this attack in the combo, and you can actually use the tackle to get to your true charge slash faster by, you know, canceling the animations basically of the other ones. Obviously, it's not going to do as much damage, but you can get to the true charge slash very quickly with this combo. The tackle also can give you hyper armor, okay? So whenever you tackle through a monster's attack, and as you guys just saw, it also has like knockdown or blunt force damage, kind of like how the hammer does. Not as much, but if you do hit a monster in the head enough with your shoulder charge, then you can knock it over and knock it out. Another thing you need to know is that every time you do a tackle, you can follow up the tackle by holding Y, and it's going to go into your second Y combo. And so whenever you notice that in a combo strand, for example, the B combo strand, the forward lunging attack combo, you spam B, the second attack is a tackle. So you can actually use this, and then after that tackle, you can go straight into the charge slash, and it skips the overhead slash. The final major way in this section that I'm going to be showing you guys how to get to your true charge slash is by doing wound focus finishers. The greatsword has one of the best wound focus finishers because it comes out very quickly, and it also covers a lot of distance. So you can hit a lot of wounds at once, and you're never going to have an issue where you're maybe missing a wound like some of the other weapons might. However, when you're doing a wound focus finisher, when you're done, you can then hold Y and it will go directly to your true charge slash. It skips everything. So now that we know the basic ways of how to get to the true charge slash and faster and just different ways, now let's talk about the rising slash. So as I said earlier, the rising slash is going to be one of the absolute most important attacks that you need to learn in Monster Hunter Wilds when it comes to the greatsword. Rising slash is mainly used to counter monster attacks, okay? As you guys saw there, and yes, it has a follow-up. We'll talk about the follow-up in just a second. If you time it correctly, and yes, you can also hold it, then you can not only counter a monster, but you can also potentially knock the monster over, giving you a huge damage windows. To knock the monster over, you're going to need to charge the rising slash at least to the first notch. You can still do it without, but it's just going to give you, like, you just won't take as much damage is basically all it's going to do. So make sure that you're holding the true charge slash, and you should also hold the true charge slash, not necessarily to get, you don't want to always just go for the hardest hitting true charge slash, the red pulse, the third pulse. You're mainly holding it for the timing. So if you have to let it go in the first pulse or the second pulse to get that timing off, then do it. Now, as you guys saw, whenever you successfully land a true charge slash, then you have the ability to do a couple follow-ups. Directly after successfully hitting, you are going to like lunge into the monster, and if you press Y, you will do the follow-up. And it literally just says follow-up cross slash, okay? And you need to be doing that all the time. But after that, you can actually do another follow-up. So we press Y, and from here, you can either press and hold Y to go into your strong charge slash, and then obviously after the strong charge slash, you can go into your true charge slash if you have the time. Or what you can do is after your follow-up, you can actually, so Y, and then you can actually press B, and then even B again, and then from there, I mean, you can just do a whole bunch of different things, right? But you need to keep in mind, one of the combos that you can do after you press B is again going into your true charge slash. Now, the reason the charged rising slash is so good is because obviously it gives you openings, but there is almost no attack that this won't be able to parry, as long as it's not a projectile. Things like a fireball from any of the dragons, or like Ray Dow's lightning beam, obviously you're not gonna be able to do it with that. But any attack, any of the chain attacks from Arc Veiled, all of them can be parried, which is massive, is great. Now, ending off this section real quick, I want to talk about the general window you have to get off this parry, because it does take a little bit of timing, kind of similar to the long swords like slash through a monster, but the window is a lot bigger. Now, the biggest thing for me that I had to get used to is that you need to let go and swing through before the monster actually attacks you, because if you let go in reaction of the monster attacking you, you'll have hyper armor, but you're not going to be able to actually do the parry. Not only that, but you can let go very early, and look, you see how early I let go, and you still were able to parry the monster. Basically, as long as you're in your swing animation, then you can get this off. And look how long the swing animation is. I mean, that entire thing, this entire ginormous like arc that he does, any point in that swing, if the monster is attacking you while you're doing this, then you will be parrying. Sorry, one last thing about the rising slash is that you can actually combo this attack out of pretty much any attack. which makes it very, very nice. You know, you don't have to try to set it up. You can basically just use this at any point. All right, so now that we know pretty much all of the basic attacks and counters and all of that when it comes to the greatsword, let's talk about how to use them all together, and I'll show you guys the absolute best combos that you're going to want to be cycling in every single one of your hunts with the greatsword. So this combo starts off with just the normal overhead smash attack, okay? But right after that, instead of going on to your strong charge slash, whatever it's called, you're going to press B to do a wide slash, and then B again to go into a tackle. Now, like I said earlier, after you do a tackle, you can then follow up that attack with a strong charge slash, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So it's as if we just had a continuation of our combo. So now we do the strong charge slash, and from the strong charge slash, you are going to be pressing B one more time. So again, strong charge slash, and then B, and then hold Y for your true charge slash. And then from here, you're still not done. You can then go into your rising slash. And so that is our damage for that combo. It's absolutely insane. On the dummy, we're doing 3,318 damage with the build that I have right now. But as you guys saw, this combo is about 45 minutes long, okay? And you're not going to be able to do this unless the monster is knocked over. There's no way. Which brings us to our next best option. Your number one goal is to knock over the monster. And so as I showed you guys earlier, you can use that rising slash to knock over the monster. So what you're going to do is you are probably going to most likely find a quick opening to land your first attack on the monster. And then once you do, you are going to use the rising slash and wait for a monster to attack, okay? And something I forgot to mention earlier, if your timing is a little bit off, while you're in your rising slash, you can evade and just go back into another rising slash. That is one way to cancel. Or another way is to wait with a charging slash and just keep waiting by doing shoulder charges, because you can go into a rising slash right after a shoulder charge. Now, at the point where you parry the monster, if the monster is knocked over, you are actually going to hold Y to go into your strong charge slash, and then continue that combo that we did earlier, but from the strong charge slash. And then again, you can hold this to do more damage, or maybe even parry again. So again, combo number 2 that kind of combines the rising slash, hopefully, you know, allowing the monster to get knocked over with that super long combo that we had earlier, is your normal charge slash with a parry. Press Y for the follow-up, hold Y again, B, hold Y for your true charge slash, and then hold Y and B at the same time one more time for your offset rising slash, maybe even parrying it again, you know. And finally, the final major combo that I'm going to be showing you guys is basically a combo if the monster is knocked over, but it's knocked over for a short amount of time, because as you know, there's a different amount of times depending on the way you knocked out the monster. And so for example, one of the shortest ways to knock out a monster is by stunning the monster. It's not knocked over, but let's say you just keep hitting it in the head with either a hammer or your tackle, then I would at that point recommend doing your, you know, hold YB to tackle, putting you straight into your true charge slash. And then again, 90% of the time, I recommend following up your true charge slash with a rising slash. Even if you don't hold the rising slash, it's just going to be extra damage. And there you go. Those are going to be the major combos that I suggest for you guys to use. What I recommend 95% of the time, you guys are going to want to focus that rising slash, because it gives not only you, but if you're in a party full of hunters, it also gives them an opening to also you know, get their big combos off against the monster as well. So now we went over pretty much everything when it comes to just how to attack a monster. Now let me show you guys how I would recommend to open a fight, every single fight, actually every hunt. All right, so I'm going to be showing you guys the opener on Arcveiled just because he looks cooler, and if you're at this point, you're probably going to be fighting a lot of Arcveiled. If you're, I don't know, if you're farming, you know, the Ardian weapon parts, or if you're just trying to farm levels, or if you're farming the materials to upgrade your Ardian weapons, all of that, you're going to be fighting Arcveiled a lot. Now, before we get in here, let me explain what we're going to be doing. So the first thing we're going to be doing is trying to sneak up on Arcveiled and use a sneak attack. If you don't know what a sneak attack is, if you get behind a monster while your weapon is sheathed and the monster doesn't see you, it will then prompt you at that point to do a sneak attack by pressing B on Xbox or circle on PlayStation. And then right after you do a sneak attack,
there, that's our target.
let's see if we can sneak up behind him. So there he is. There it is, sneak attack. Right after that, I'm going into my next charge and then blocking. I obviously missed that first charge that I did, but that is going to be how you're going to open the fight. Let me show you guys one more time. I guess I just now also realizing that I forgot to explain the block. Yes, if you press down your right trigger button, then you have a block that you can do with the greatsword. And that block is also a very good way to mitigate damage and just to kind of face tank different attacks, because that block mitigates a lot of damage, and you can also perfect block. The perfect block doesn't give you a ton of benefits, but it is going to stop a whole lot of the damage that is coming your way, and a very good way and a fast way to block roars and things like that. All right, so give me 1 second. I'm going to skip to when I actually do the opener against Arcveiled. All right, and then from there, you can this weapon is just so fun. By the way, the reason you block after that first charge attack that you do is because you're blocking the roar, okay? I'm also not charging my charge attack all the way to red. I think I'm doing about 2 pulses. So I'm doing the sneak attack, 2 pulses of the charge attack, and then blocking to block the roar so I can go straight into my combos. Now I'll show you guys the best monster to practice on, not only for the greatsword, but I think for any weapon in the entire game, because this monster's attacks are very long, they're very drawn out and very animated, so you can kind of tell and get your timing down with everything. If you're a longsword player, this is a great way to also practice your slash the monster. I forgot, like the counter, you know what I'm talking about, the parry. And that monster is going to be Uthduna. Now, I highly recommend to just go ahead and fight the low ranked Uthduna, just because, you know, this is practice and you're not going to be perfect right now, and you don't want to be taking so much damage that you're either like just burning through all of your heals, or you die and have to restart. It's just annoying. So just fight the low ranked ones so that if you do get hit, because you do mess up, then it's not that crazy. If this video helped you guys out, think about leaving a like on the video. Think about subscribing to the channel. It helps me a lot. And this is actually the, I believe, 4th weapon in the series that we've covered. We've covered the longsword, we've covered the charge blade, and we've also covered the gun lance, I believe. If you want to check any of those out, click on these videos right over here. And other than that, man, I'll see you guys in the next video. Turn this shit off.